Pepper Peaches. Welcome to our 14th episode. I'm Erica.
And I'm Joyce. I don't know why my hands
Hello,
are like that. Jazz hands.
Joyce.
Hi.
Waving hands.
How
How
are
is your
you?
week?
This week? It's been good. I'm currently on my day 2 of quarantine. And yeah, I'm finally back in Hong Kong and we're still doing long distance.
Yes, how is quarantine?
Very nice. It's
Very
actually,
nice.
yeah, it's actually, I think, okay, just to sum up, like I would rate this week overall, I would say 9.5, just
Oh,
because,
wow.
yeah, just because I was in Ho
That's
Chi
still pretty
Minh
high.
and
Yeah.
I was with my boyfriend, and then during the day I worked during the day by myself, and it's just been a very good balance of I guess work and pleasure a little bit. Like I finally found a good
Mm.
balance last week, and then coming to quarantine late last night and today, it's just a really good time to, I guess, what do you call it, like recuperate, like, and kind of
Mm,
wind
mm.
down and get back in the process, but also not having all these outside factors to like consume you and overwhelm you, and just kind of focus on yourself and work and get back on track with diet and just
Mm.
rest. So I think this has been, I would say 18-year-old me would not enjoy this at all, because I'll just be like freaking out and be super mad
Yeah.
because I need to get out. But I think the older you get, you just get more calm with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been
In a
good
way, I think quarantine is a good idea when it's only 7 days
when it's
because
only 7 days.
yeah, you can stay away from all the outside distraction. And
Exactly.
even if your boss calls you at work, you have the perfect reason to not physically be there and
Sorry, I'm in
recharge.
quarantine.
Yeah,
It's
good
true.
thing. And if you overeat during your trip, it's
Mhm.
a good time to, get back on your diet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been great. I think 7 days is a just perfect amount and maximum time to just,
Well, 6 days for you actually,
yeah, six
right?
days for me, luckily.
Yeah,
So
even better.
yeah, I think I'll probably miss quarantine by the end of this. Who knows? But yeah, so far so good. How about you?
Uh, it's been good as well because I just quit my job.
You're sharing the news?
I
Woohoo!
mean, well, not exactly quitting the whole lawyer thing, but
Mhm.
just, moving to a different environment with a different firm and been taking this whole week off.
Mhm.
So far it's been super chill and zen. I mean, yesterday I got I went to a morning workout
Mhm.
and then I went to a coffee shop and I was supposed to meet up with my friend, but then he was late, and so I got bored of staying in the same coffee shop for too long. And I went to this bistro and ordered a glass of wine on my own
Wait, did you do your
at
morning
2 p.m.
workout? Did you do your morning workout at your backyard, or did you went to a studio?
And I went to a gym.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice when you were, you know, taking your time at the gym
Mhm.
and not having to worry about, say lah, I have to 上厕所. So maybe someone would be using the bathroom when I have to use it, and not having to, just to count down on the time that you have to go to work before you go to work.
That's
So
nice.
that was really nice. You can stretch all that you can,
Yeah, and you have this
all
week
that you want.
to just also slow down
Yeah.
and relax before the
Yeah,
next
and
move.
binge watch all the shows that I want to. I'm in a constant, like, a courtroom TV show mood.
What
So I've
what
been watching a lot
TV
of
shows
courtroom.
have you been watching?
Well, there is Depp versus Hurt. This real time TV show.
Yes.
There is Anatomy of a Scandal, in a way, it's also a TV
Mm.
show.
Yeah, did you finish
And
that, or are you still watching?
oh, I finished. I finished before you left for Hong Kong. Yeah,
Oh,
you left for America. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. And there is So I've been attending some court trials, right? So that's another real-time courtroom show.
Mhm.
And then there is this Netflix show called Lincoln Lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I finished that. It was good. Now I'm watching this new one called Your Honor.
Mm.
Yeah, the male lead is Bryan Cranston. I think his name is Bryan Cranston.
Is
You
it a
know
UK
Breaking Bad?
show?
No, it's American.
Oh, nice.
You know Breaking Bad, right? Breaking
Yeah,
Bad.
I know Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. He was starring Breaking Bad.
Oh, nice.
The chemistry teacher. So yeah, and then after that, I'm gonna start Better Call Saul. So I'm in this like
Wait, so did you say
very
what's
intense.
how did you rate your week again? How much out of
Oh,
10?
sorry, I didn't give a number.
If you were
It's a
to give
nine,
it.
nine. Yeah,
See,
because
we've been like the
it's a
same.
relaxing week.
We've been like the
What?
same. Every time I'm like a
Yeah.
7, and then you're like almost 7.5. And then when we're 9, we're both 9. It's just
You know why?
why?
You know why?
Why?
Because you're Pisces and I'm Scorpio.
And we're just like this. We're
Yes,
like
exactly.
whatever it is.
Intertwine
Yes.
with the emotions.
So like whatever aura or mood I'm giving off, you can receive it and vice versa, right?
Yeah. I mean, in general, we're pretty emotional people and we kind of just absorb all the emotions from whoever that we're talking to, interacting with. So yeah.
That's true. And that's why we've been doing this rate your week thing, not only for this podcast, but it's also for us to just kind of learn,
reflect on ourselves.
Yeah, and every week we're so different and we're always changing. We learn a different thing every day. So it's just good to talk to a friend and just list out all these things. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's time.
Yeah, should we get into our topic for this week?
Yeah. Why don't you kickstart this topic?
So I told you guys that our listeners that I'm in a constant, courtroom show kind of mood, and I hope you guys have been paying attention to this century, once in a century trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and it basically it would be the topic for today, their relationship, because it's so fascinating and intriguing, like the amount of toxin,
toxic relationships. This was like very broadcasted, very just everybody around the world was noticing it, whether it's through their social media, through news. Everywhere was broadcasted and talked about. So I think we wanted to kind of dive in deeper in talks of like their relationship, their companionship, or just like their dynamic of everything, and just have our take and just list out some facts, Yeah.
So shall I just start with a little background of their relationship?
Yeah, go for it.
So basically, if you guys are not entirely aware of it, they started dating back in 2015, and they got married after they started dating in 2013, 2012 or 2012, yeah, and then they got married after 2 or 3 years of dating in 2015. But after getting married for 15 months, they ended the relationship, and Amber Heard filed for divorce. She also filed for like a restraining order, and alleging that Johnny Depp has physically abused her. And then after that, Johnny Depp denied all the accusations, but then they settled for like a $7 million US dollar award for Amber Heard. Moving on to 2018, which is 3 years later, Amber Heard published an op-ed in which the article she mentioned herself as the person's standing up against domestic violence. She didn't mention Johnny Depp by name, but obviously the entire world knows.
It was indicated.
Yeah, it was indicated. And at the same time, And a newspaper article in the UK was published alleging that Johnny Depp was a wife beater. So Johnny Depp started filed a libel case against a UK newspaper company, which he lost and was not allowed to appeal. Johnny Depp then go back to the US and sued Amber Heard for defamation because of the content that she mentioned in the op-ed. And he sued him for what, like 5 million US dollar, right?
Yep.
And she countersued him for 10 million US dollar. Yeah, 10 million US dollar. And then the case was tried started in April and just ended in that last week, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Basically the jury found Johnny Depp winning the defamation suit, and now Amber Heard is planning for an appeal. So that's the summary of this
background of this trial.
Toxic couple turn into courtrooms opponents.
Drama / opponent. I think it's long story short, I feel like this, after hearing the introduction, it's just a never ending and years of just like, oh, I'm gonna one up you to like appeal, to like sue you for this amount, I'm gonna sue. But like, I don't know what the takeaway is. I don't see a takeaway. I just think they're trying to prove something for themselves, for others. There's just a lot of internal problems and struggle, I feel like, that's going on.
Yeah.
And yeah,
well, if you ask me, sorry.
No, go for it. No, I'm done.
No, I'm just, if you ask me, I don't think there's a winner in this case, even though the whole world thinks that Johnny Depp wins the lawsuit. Yeah.
Did you want to? I think the purpose of this discussion is just, well, mainly it's been the talk of the town. It's been broadcasted all over social media, all over news, and we've been looking at this for the past month, and we just really wanted to, I guess, mainly discuss about the relationship dynamic, how it's toxic, how it's chaotic, and what are some things that we learned and took away from this couple and this trial. And just did you want to kind of go over like the disclaimers of like what we're not trying to, I guess, focus on and talk about mainly?
I mean, this discussion is not about, obviously we're no legal experts, psychological experts, so this discussion is by no means a very technical discussion of the merits of the case, or like the personality disorders that those experts have been saying about Amber Heard or Johnny Depp. I don't know. So it's not about that. It's just us as like laymen listening to all the talks around, and then occasionally watching a few clips, just amazed or just, would you say amazed? I don't know, like the kind of relationship that these two people are in. It just kind of brings me like to think about a lot of stuff that would intoxicate a healthy relationship or result in this kind of
behavior,
drama.
Okay.
So toxic relationship, how do you understand this term?
I think for me, when I hear the word toxic, it just comes with a lot of disrespect. And when I think of disrespect, it's almost like one person is trying to one up another. One person is trying to insult the other person, make you feel uncomfortable, make you belittle you, make you feel small, make you feel like my truth are better than your truths and your stories. And I think that was one of the things that they kind of simultaneously did and showed in their evidence, and yeah, just like their tone of voice throughout their evidence that they've given. And I think that was the main thing that when you said, oh, toxic relationship, that was like my immediate thought of it. So yeah, how about you?
More or less the same. I mean, I do see a few indicators, like if that person is trying to control you, just basically being
Yes.
control freak.
Yes.
At every single end, from the minute you wake up to the very best friend that you meet, you see, to everything in your life. That is an indicator of toxic relationship. Also, the kind of, so basically being possessive, right?
Yeah.
And also the kind of jealousy and dishonesty that the person would display in the relationship. Because I remember watching some of the clips where they basically they're saying how Johnny Depp was a very easily jealous type of person, and is always accusing or not accusing, maybe it did happen, I don't know, that Amber Heard is like having affairs with multiple guys.
Yeah.
And same thing goes back to Amber Heard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely not a sign of healthy relationship, right? Also some kind of physical violence, of course, emotional abuse, sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And the feeling basically is that you're walking on eggshells. And you can't even be yourself when you're with your partner. That's a sign, right?
That's true.
You can't always be the receptor.
Yeah.
Like you're taking in all the emotions of your partner, but you can't even release it using your own means.
Yeah. I think the term of what you said, like walking on eggshells, is so true with a toxic relationship. It's just like you're basically not yourself. You're being somebody that they want you to be, or somebody that you're completely not, and you're afraid of that, and you're afraid to show your real self because you're gonna get backlash, you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get all these abusive kind of actions towards you, right? So it's like you not being able to be yourself, and you're just being, I don't know, could be a ghost or something super weird. And just, I think that's a sign of a very unhealthy relationship. More so, like, I think what I was thinking of, like, oh, what are the connections? It was like, obviously Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Like, Johnny Depp is a very successful actor, and Amber Heard, what was her, I don't remember her first movie, but I guess she got famous like over the years, and of course with dating Johnny Depp. Yeah, with dating Johnny Depp too, like before, of course she got some fame through that. And I think it's always the case. I'm not saying being an actor or like an entertainer is a bad thing in any means, but just like looking with this relationship, I think the takeaway was the fact that they were both, you know, famous, and they were like in Hollywood, and they were actors and actresses that were well known, with different all these movies, and having money and power in that sense gave them kind of like a false indication of like, oh, I can one up another, and why are you saying this when I'm this famous or whatever. Just like a lot of like these things we don't see behind the scenes. I think because of these backgrounds that they had really affected the way they treated themselves in their personal lives. So
yeah. So so basically what you're saying is that they want to maintain the control over everything in their lives.
Exactly.
So want everything to go their own way.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's like two very dominant people being in a relationship, and neither of them want to just, you know, compromise.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And that won't work. That basically wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work. Yeah. And I think them using all these kind of excuses, aka like being toxic to each other, is just them, is their unhealthy way of showing power, right? And I think
yeah, sorry.
No.
I was just random thought. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship, do you think?
I think so, but it's not, why am I smiling? Anyways. I think so, but it's but it's definitely the is the, how should I say, the damage is way less and the effect is way less than Amber Heard and Depp, of course. I think it's a lot of I could name one example, like the
any of those indicators that I just mentioned.
You know what? I think it's more like a one-sided relationship where I felt like I couldn't trust that person at all by his actions.
Well, that's kind of toxic as well.
Yeah, exactly, right. And that made me aka walk on eggshells, aka not being myself, saying things that are probably not true, and doing all these possessive actions to get the person's attention. And that just kind of spiraled through, and I would say it's a full cycle of being in a toxic relationship. Because bottom line, was I happy? No, I was fucking sad, depressed, and obviously didn't put my feelings and didn't put my needs first. And I think number one is just I was not being able to stand up for myself, and that was very sad to see. And I think it takes a lot to walk away from that, because sometimes you get drowned and you're like almost like, oh my god, it's like toxic relationship. You don't immediately think that. You're like, oh, I'm just really in love with the person, right? That's your excuse. And that was my excuse. And I think that was definitely a false statement. And I'm glad I grew up and walked away and just kind of didn't want it to stand on eggshells. How about you?
Well, basically, I think that's the worst part of being in a toxic relationship, is that you can't even walk away. Like you just know that you're so drowned in it, and you can't even pull yourself up.
One more thing I wanted to add was like, you said you're not being able to walk away from it. I think one thing is that comes with that, it's the obsessiveness of it. Like, because toxic relationships are so high on emotions, you're almost like obsessed with it, because you can get that adrenaline, you can get that rush, you can get that feel so strong. Exactly. And I think it ties hand in hand, right? So in a way, I think, kind of a little going back to Amber Heard, like I think she's quite obsessive. Like, not to Johnny Depp, to the entire situation, entire trial, she's like obsessive with it. And that's very unhealthy and scary thing, you know?
So she did write, she did wrote some few love letters to Johnny Depp. Where she basically apologized for hurting him. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can get crazy, I'm sorry to hurt you. Like you, I can get wicked when I'm hurt, when I feel provoked, shattered. And in another letter, she apologized where she was like, there's basically never a reason good enough to hurt you. You're the last thing in the world that deserves it. I love you, blah blah blah. I mean,
damn,
it's crazy enough for a person to, if she really did do it, which we should not, I don't want to go into it, but if she did like all those, like throwing bottles at him, pooped in his bed, all those stuff, and imagine your partner doing all of that to you in one night, and the following day you woke up, you found a letter on your desk with all of these. Isn't it crazy? How toxic is this whole relationship?
I can't even. It's too much. I don't know how they find
it. Is too much.
Is it fun for her? Is it fun for them? I don't know. Like,
I
you can't get away with it. But I think I'm curious to know, like, how about you?
Oh, toxic relationship?
Have you ever been in one, unfortunately?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
What were the indicators and the key takeaways of it?
Indicators being that, I guess when I was in long distance relationship, and I always have this constant fear of him leaving me, being with another woman, or just getting too drunk.
So just that lack of trust.
Yes, that complete lack of trust. And I don't think I hate myself being that, that whole stupid loop of checking your WhatsApp from time to time, wondering if he has replied your messages yet, and then to the point where I would mute it, archive it, but just clicking into WhatsApp to see if there would be a surprise where he just replied, even though I muted it. And when there's none,
all those emotional
shattered.
games, games that you played by yourself, basically.
It's like a huge roller coaster ride, constantly looping, and to the point where I just couldn't stand it anymore. I would just broke down, basically, and cried, and which is, I think, is worse, because I've always been a pretty emotionally stable person, and for me to get to that point, I think
that's a lot.
It's just a huge sign that I should break up, and of course I broke up. And
what did you learn from it?
Well, first of all, healthy relationship, you can tell if it's a healthy relationship. You guys would be open to each other, complete trust, and you respect each other. You don't even have to worry if that person would disappear on you. You don't have to worry if that person would be having an affair or anything, because you just won't. That's a healthy relationship. And so also learning that if you see signs of all those things that I just mentioned, then you should just walk away already, because I it's one of those lessons that I mentioned when we're doing that podcast episode about 10 things we learned in the 20s. Never beg for anyone to stay. Which is still one of my mottos
for life.
For real.
That's good. I think one thing, this is going back to Amber Heard, just I saw that on TikTok or Instagram, there's all these videos of Amber Heard copying whatever Johnny Depp wore in court every day. And I wanted to talk about
so creepy,
because it's so weird, and I wanted to know if do you know any reasons behind it, or have you researched much to kind of figure that out, or is it just for funsy? Is it just because she's cray and obsessive? I don't think there's a real fact as to why she wore the same outfit or almost identical outfits.
You know what? I don't think she can even explain it herself.
I don't think so either.
It's rooted. It's one of her subconscious. Just she's been trained to do that.
So you think it's unintentional then in that case?
In a way, it's intentional, but it's intentional to everyone else, but to her, it just seems like the most natural thing to do. But again, she's not any human being. So I don't know. What do you think? Why?
I was trying to think too. I was there's no given facts as to why she did that, because it's super weird. And then I just tried to do different research and found different links of assumptions and stuff. And I don't know, just one article said that it could be a possibility that she's trying to sway the jury towards just giving the effect of I'm guilty, and I'm, in a way, she's belittling herself in the trial. And I don't know
why.
Obviously,
but you mean by she doesn't want to? Why would she want to give the kind of? I mean, doesn't she want to win in the trial? Why would she want the jury to make her feel
she's very
Oh, okay. So not guilt, but just a sign of weakness.
Yes, sign of weakness.
She's in the lower hand.
Yeah.
She's the one who's she's the victim.
Yeah, because she's abused, right? So it's like she's not gonna try to wear something to one up Johnny Depp or be flashy. Or she's always gonna downplay. I think like clothing really says a lot about a person, and as a visual effect to the court, of course, she's trying to wear something that's. I mean, I still don't understand why she's wearing the exact same thing, but also wearing like dull, dark, black, gray colors only, trying to show that, oh, she's in deep sadness, she's in a very dark place, you know, she deserves better, like all that stuff. So yeah,
Well,
it's interesting.
valid. It's pretty interesting how like all her, like all those clips, her facial expressions, her outfits, any clips about when she like, you know, talks, is now on TikTok, trending on TikTok. She's a meme. She is
a meme. She is a meme. For sure banned from Aquaman too. She is for sure not going
She's banned from everything. I think
her reputation is kind of like, not kind of, completely, I would say, out the door. So I don't know how she's going to redeem herself, and how does she even want? I don't know.
I mean, see, that's another thing that I think is so toxic of their relationship, is that she keeps saying that she wants to move on with her life when she's being examined in court. She said, like, she said stuff like, oh, I want to move on, and I really want Johnny to move on too. I want him to just leave me alone. But again, like, why would you wrote that article back in 2018? And this whole legal action would just never leave any of them alone. She basically just put herself out there. Everyone will be talking about her for the rest of their life. Oh, but you know what? I just read one of those I don't know, Instagram posts that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie might be starting a lawsuit against each other too. So basically they've divorced, right? And they own this like vineyard, I think, or one of those like chateau, whatever, together. And Angelina Jolie just sold her shares to an outside, like a stranger outside party. Yes. So basically just reduce the amount of control that Brad Pitt can have in the chateau. And so now he is suing her for, I don't know, some company stuff, or like some dishonesty stuff. So that could be season 1. Yes. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Season 2, still Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, and spin-off is Brad Pitt versus Angelina Jolie.
Fresh new couple. Next up. Damn. Yeah, I think that's very tiring and very emotionally draining. So good luck to them. I mean, they have all the money in the world. They think that, you know, if they could they could, I guess, dump all this money just for the sake of reputation, or I don't know, winning one another. I mean, you could use that money to do a lot more stuff like charity and do good deeds, but if you want to...
I mean, apparently Angelina Jolie is a pretty generous person. She did a lot of charity work.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. You can never understand those people because we're not one of those. We're in a very healthy relationship. Yeah.
That's good. I think. Do you have anything else to add?
I guess, well, the rest of the stuff people pretty much know about it. Like, I think worth mentioning is that they record each other. You know, during most of their fights, they secretly, like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they secretly recorded each other's conversation between each other, which is kind of also creepy and crazy and toxic to me, because why would you even record? I mean,
In the
it could
first
be
place.
obviously that you press record and then you want to provoke the other person, and just for him to say something bad,
Mhm.
and you can use it
As
against that
evidence,
person
yeah.
in the future as evidence. But again, it's creepy.
It's creepy
If
and
they
it's
were,
disrespectful, right? In the first place. Like, how do I, like, why do you report me in the first place with when I'm trying to kind of have a intimate conversation between about our relationship or whatever? It's like, I can't,
yeah,
that in a sense is, oh, I can't say what I want to say because I'm being
yeah,
recorded, it's so
yeah.
uncomfortable.
And does that mean that they plotted this whole suit back in 2015 and 16? Is that the
Damn.
reason why they recorded it? Yeah,
Damn.
it's
What,
crazy enough just to think about it.
just to get noise, just to get exposure? I don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
stay tuned.
rumors, they did say that it's because of their personal trauma. Like both of them have
Yeah.
grown up in a pretty toxic family. Like
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Depp has a mother who would abuse him,
Yeah.
mistreated him, and Amber Heard also have a substance abusive, like a drunk, an alcoholic father.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could contribute to why they grew up to be the kind of persons that they are today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so our listeners, if you have a partner who is abusive, I mean not abusive, who is obsessed with a particular hobby or interest that is not too healthy, say substance abuse
Mm-hmm.
or gambling, or what else? What else could be a sign that you should just walk away from that person already? Or maybe at least talk about it with him.
Physical abuse, like hitting, smacking, like
Oh
all
yeah.
these physical
Oh
abuse.
yeah, yeah.
Verbal abuse also, like nonstop swearing or just at you and being very overly loud, I think, or just trying to pick a fight every time. I think those are indication of verbal abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just emotional abuse. That's kind of the gist of and the of this relationship is them kind of mind fucking each other, mind fucking, I don't know, the judge and other people. I think that's that, like I think both parties are playing dirty in some way, and um
Mm,
that's just it. And unfortunately there's no clear winner of this, I think, right?
yeah. I mean, regardless of the ultimate defamation ruling, I think it's just a tragedy for
Mm-hmm.
the both of them
Yeah.
to, yeah, they haven't been able to extricate themselves from the relationship before all of this toxicity, and they're both just very physically and emotionally abusive to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the worst outcome of a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, I think the key takeaway for me is it's good that we're talking about this, talking about this issue, just to I guess showcase the importance of how dating violence, abusive relationships are still out there. They're quite happen quite often, and often not said about. And
Mm,
it takes, a famous couple to kind of broadcast this into life and shed light on it. And hopefully people are having healthy discussions, like say,
yeah,
if you're like a mom or like a parent of like a teenager and you see signs of them going through like teenage like
yeah.
dating violence, I think it's good for to them to like it's good for you to educate them. And
Mm,
because for them to see this news, it could have a different reaction and different takeaway because they're still so young and they're not fully formed and developed, I guess, emotionally. They could take this as like an entertainment, right? As like, so I think
yeah,
for a parent to step aside and tell them the logistics and the practicality and the pros and cons, like the not pros, sorry, the cons of this, and what are some things to
yeah,
pay attention. I think it's good to have this talk on the side with your teens.
yeah. Ooh, so educational.
Thank
and
you.
inspirational.
I try. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's it for today. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to add?
Well, not much for me. Basically, if you feel like yourself is walking on eggshell, maybe try to kneel down and pick up those eggshells instead of keep walking on it.
Pick those
Yeah.
eggshells, give it to that abuser, and walk away.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't constantly put yourself in pain. Don't
Yeah.
be like
For sure.
the
The
don't be
victim.
like us, the past versions of Erica and Joyce.
Yeah, don't be the victim of your relationship with others. So yeah.
Basically.
Thank you guys for listening, and we hope your day is as peachy as this episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Like and rate this podcast on Spotify and iTunes.
Comment or DM us on any of our social media platform as well. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.